Hey, this is Luke with another Android Guys podcast. I'm here with Scott. What's up?
What's going on, Luke?
Not much. Just hanging out and podcasting with you.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm up to.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Weird, right?
Yeah. So we have another projector to cover
Yes.
from a company that we have covered other projectors from.
This is our third in the last couple of weeks
Yes.
from this brand.
Yeah. And this one, we had good marks on the other two.
Yep.
Not to get too far into it, but this one seems maybe even a little better.
It is.
So, yeah, why don't you go ahead and get into it? Well, you're talking about a Vankyo.
Yeah, I guess since you know everything.
No, I'm reading off a screen here.
Oh,
it's
okay.
a Vankyo, but
Yeah.
you go tell us what it is.
This is the Vankyo Performance. I believe it's a performance line of projectors. This is the V700W.
Okay.
So the other two that we reviewed were part of the Leisure line. This is considered part of the performance line, so it is a little bit more of a, you would expect a little bit more from it.
Yes.
And it does have a little bit more to it, and it's kind of a bundle.
Okay.
We ended up giving, I think, the exact same marks for the last two.
Yeah.
And this one comes in really close, but with just a slight edge over the other two.
All right.
This one is a little bit more pricey, though. So the other was that we were looking at were running around, I think, like 140.
Yeah.
170.
More of like kind of a budget friendly. Yeah.
Yeah. So like my first projector kind of thing. So the V700 is kind of a bundle that you get. And this is, I don't know how big yours was, but I was basing images, kind of doing a comparison. This looks like it's the biggest of the three.
Okay.
And this has a pretty decent footprint.
Yeah.
This one's designed to work as a front projector or a rear projector.
Oh.
It can flip the image, kind of project from behind.
Yeah.
And it could also be used to mount upside down as a ceiling projector as well.
Okay.
So it's the kind of thing that you would want to do a little bit more permanent.
Yeah.
Based off of what your situation calls for.
Okay.
Like the others, it comes with a remote to control that. This one has kind of digital or has buttons to control things. So your focus, instead of kind of like turning a knob or a dial, there is a little bit of a dial to adjust the keystone.
Yeah.
Just a little bit there. But the focus is actually kind of like you hold down like a multifunction button, and then your up and down, which would normally be your volume buttons, become your focus, your image. So I had it set up here in the office, and I was kind of projecting across the room, and it had a pretty decent size image. But then when I projected it from the back across, like a 20-foot, to get the biggest size that it says it will support.
Sure.
And you can always project as big as you want, right?
Right.
Just how good is a picture quality.
Exactly. Yep.
So this will project up to, I believe, 224 inches.
Oh, wow.
So I did the quick math on that before we got on here, and that is 18.6 feet.
Okay.
And that's, of course, diagonal.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm looking at a giant
it's huge
picture window behind you.
Yeah.
And that's not 18 feet.
No.
But that is way bigger than the TV that I watch, at home.
Yeah.
So, and we've had this discussion in the past where we might be a little bit more forgiving on picture quality and resolution in favor of size.
Sure.
And if you're going to get into something that is, a 10-foot screen, we kind of like that and prefer that versus the 4K.
Right.
Not a lot of content is broadcast in 4K.
Right.
You can, obviously with Blu-ray players and some of these things, you can get a really high resolution.
Yeah.
Much higher than a 1080p.
Yeah.
But I think for a lot of my needs, and I think for a lot of people, is, dude, I just like the really big screen.
Yeah.
I like the fact that I don't have this TV that just sits there.
Sure.
When I'm not using it, that wall is whatever.
Yeah.
So the other two projectors that we got were just the projectors.
Right.
This one actually comes with a screen.
Oh, nice.
So it's like it's 120 inch, and it's kind of folded up, and you will have some lines or wrinkles in that, but it can clean up pretty easily. Once you go up there, if you have like a steam machine or something
Yeah.
to de-wrinkle things.
And I would imagine if you have it like how this is supposed to be a little bit more of a permanent thing, if you have that set up for after a while, those will stretch out.
Yeah. And they do come with like some adhesive kind of things to kind of hang it. And there are some eyelets.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So you can stretch it a decent amount.
Yeah.
Okay.
So at that point, it's 120 inches. So you're looking at like a 10-foot screen, which is still really big.
It's still pretty decent size.
And you're
TV.
looking at a 55-inch TV. So you're doubling that.
Yeah.
And you're getting a screen that is really big and good for, general entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
So we've talked about kind of where these types of things belong or where we see them. I think that's the same case here. This would be good for a gaming room, a room for kids, something like a common area where you've got maybe some bean bags, couches, and where the kids kind of crash if you've got people that stay the night.
Yeah.
If you have like a central area where you might convene for guests if there's a bar or something, depending on how your house is set up.
Sure.
This is a nice thing to kind of project, a fireplace this time of year.
Yeah.
Or some kind of, stock images of things to just kind of set the mood for something.
Yeah.
This has 2 HDMI ports.
Okay.
So if you have, a PlayStation or an NVIDIA Shield or something that you have like a source of entertainment, you can plug those in. You have 2 of those.
Okay.
You also have 2 USB ports. So if you want to plug in something directly that way. And then you also have a 3.5 millimeter audio output.
Oh, nice.
Now you can also pair Bluetooth bidirectional 5.1 to this, or use this to pair out.
Okay.
These have Dolby Digital sound, and I think we mentioned your one that you reviewed.
Yep.
It's good.
Yeah.
And I think for me, projector sound.
Yes.
We touched on this too, is like, yes, there are different degrees of making a phone sound better than other phones.
Yes.
These 2 laptops, one will sound better than the other.
Yes.
But they both sound like laptops.
Right.
Projectors, while some sound better than others, they still kind of sound like projectors.
Right. Yeah. You're never going to get a laptop to sound like a
Bluetooth speaker.
a countertop audio listening device. Like, it's not going to be the same.
Yeah. So to that end, if you have if you take the 3.5 millimeter output and plug in a speaker, but if you want to go with Bluetooth and just go out, I didn't do that with this. I don't know what the concerns would be in terms of latency. For gaming, that might be something to consider.
Sure.
With watching movies, I've seen most cases where Bluetooth speakers paired to these tend to be pretty good with real-time matching the mouth up.
Yeah. Bluetooth 5.2. Well, this is 5.1. But
5.1 on this one.
Anything over 5 generally has been pretty decent as far as, latency. You don't really see much mess up anymore.
So, all that said, just like the other ones, this one comes with a 3-year warranty.
Okay.
This one comes in at about $299 right now.
Okay.
So I would, when I scored it, I came in, I think, at a 3.93.
It's great.
So just a little bit above the last 2.
Yeah.
But, just basically for all practical purposes, a 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
And for us, that's really good.
Yeah.
When you get into 4.25 and above, that's kind of like the premier stuff for us.
Yeah.
I have no issues with this one. This one also has a blue light filtering capability on it or feature in it. I didn't see anything in there where I didn't watch hours of content on this, so I can't say for sure. But for those, who don't know what blue light filtering does, is that will help you with like that long-term exposure to watching things.
Sure.
Watching TV, looking at your phone, playing on a tablet, all these things that you do before you go to bed.
Right.
That blue light strain will, can do a real number on you. Give you headaches, eye fatigue, things like that. So that this has blue light filtering on it is a nice feature.
Yeah.
So that should be something that, should help you with that long-term exposure.
Right.
So I can't speak to that feature or its benefits on this particular one.
Sure.
But yeah, so it's a pretty well-rounded thing. If you have a screen and you're setting up from behind to project, that's nice. The upside down mounting to a static position kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think this is a pretty good package. I like the 3 that we've seen from Vankyo so far. I don't know if anybody else has it cheaper. I think maybe, I think you can get them from Amazon.
Yeah.
And some other places. Let me see if I can pull it up quickly. Here's Walmart just to see price wise. Yeah, $2.99. So it's the same price on that as well. So yeah, I think that it's a pretty easy to set up, pretty easy to use.
Yeah.
The buttons, the controls, I like the way it feels controlling it. It's, to me, feels like the next step up from the other ones that we have reviewed.
One question is, did you have any thoughts on the brightness of it? I know sometimes when we're doing these tests on these, it's hard to control exactly, the environment that we're watching them in.
Yeah. So this is like 400 lumens, 420 maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know if it has it listed here. Yeah, 420 lumens. Here in the office, it was really nice.
Yeah.
I'm projecting it from here to there. It gets me thinking sometimes of, do I want to, maybe put YouTube, project that instead of using the screen that's on the computer. It's plenty bright.
Yep.
Now, the one thing with projectors is you can't do these in the middle of the day.
Right.
You can't have a fully lit room. That's one of the trade-offs of having that. So if you have an environment that, is so-called man cave, or something where you can dim the lights, control that. Even here, setting this, setting the brightness in the middle of the day, kind of turning the blinds a little bit.
Sure.
Was all that was necessary to kind of get a nice bright image.
Yeah, great.
Contrast was good.
Nice.
Generally speaking, 1080p, I mean, it worked well for me.
Awesome.
So, yeah, that's the Vankyo Performance V700W.
Thanks, Scott.
You're welcome. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the podcast.
Thanks for listening.
We appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, feedback, concerns, comments, anything, shoot us an email at podcast@AndroidGuys.com. We'd love to hear from you one way or the other. Luke, if someone wants to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
I am on Instagram and Twitter at Luke Gaul, Gaul.
And I'm on Instagram at Scott Webster and Twitter as SWebster77. Until next time, thanks for listening.
See ya.